Good afternoon. It's past 12, I believe, so if you haven't finished eating, please go ahead and continue to eat and enjoy your food and enjoy your fellowship you're having with your neighbors that you're sitting next to. I want to welcome you to the 2013 Small Business Award Luncheon. Our program this year is sponsored by Stanley Community College, and we appreciate the college and we appreciate the Chamber of Commerce sponsoring this event. Normally in years past, this event has been part of the annual meeting, but small business recognition is so important that we decided that we wanted to have a special luncheon to recognize the small business nominees and the small business of the year for 2013. So we congratulate the nominees, congratulate the small business representatives that are here today. And I want to share a couple things about small business with you that I've taken out of a U.S. Small Business Administration website. And I think these are pretty impressive numbers. It says over the last 2 decades, small business is responsible for creating 2 out of every 3 net new jobs in the United States. That's big. That is real big. Our country has over 28 million small business firms that employ 60 million Americans. It's almost half of the private sector employment. That makes up 49.2% of the private sector workforce. It's provided by small businesses. So our community and our chamber, we need to support the small businesses we have in our community. And at this time, I want us just to give a round of applause to all small businesses. So if you are an owner of a small business, you're here today, thank you very much for what you do for our community. It's now time for me to call on Tom Ramsewer to give our invocation. And so I'm asked Tom to come up here. He kind of hurt my feelings. He put his name down for the invocation, and I normally get to do this, but he said he was tired of having Southern Baptist long prayers. So, so we're going to let Tom give us a short Lutheran prayer. Tom?
We may blend several denominations into it too, Bill, but thank you. And I just wanted to echo that I'm very pleased with this crowd here today. For the first time we've done this as a standalone event, and we thank you all for coming today. And now let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us, and we thank you for these business leaders and community leaders that are assembled here with us today. As Bill said, small business is the backbone of our economy, and we know, and you know, Lord, the toil and the sweat and the hours and the time away from families and the sacrifices, financial and otherwise, that folks make to keep their businesses running. We know also that some businesses do not make it, and we pray for those businesses that have faced some tough economic times over the past few years. We ask that you find a new pathway for those owners. We ask that small businesses in Stanley County flourish, that you'll find new opportunities for them to do even better in this upcoming economy. And Lord, we thank you for the food we've just received, and we ask that you bless it. In the name of Jesus, I pray, amen. Now I'd like to call on Dr. Kays, if she could start coming up. Dr. Kays is the president of Stanley Community College, and we're proud that they were a sponsor or have been for this event with us here today. Please welcome Dr. Brenda Kays.
Bill, don't feel too badly. I was talking with Tom on Friday morning with regards to our part in the program, and we were going over the agenda, and he said, just whatever you do, keep it short. So that's obviously his theme for this. And we'll definitely do that because we do want to focus our energy and our attention on our nominees today. I bring you greetings from the Board of Trustees, the faculty, the staff, and the students at Stanley Community College. We are so pleased to be partnering with the Chamber on these awards. We truly believe that small business and entrepreneurship is the heartbeat of our local economy. Not everybody qualifies to be recognized as a small business. There are certain criteria that must be met, and I'd like to tell you about those criteria right now. In order to be eligible, a business must have 50 or fewer employees, and they have to be a member of the Stanley County Chamber of Commerce. The application process is fairly simple. Any member of the Stanley County Chamber may complete an application, and applicants could also be self-nominated or nominated by their peers in the community. This is where it gets a little bit tougher because somebody must cull through all of the applicants in order to determine who the finalists will be and then actually who will be the winner. I asked Tom, do I need to recognize a selection committee? And he said, no, they prefer to remain top secret. So you know who you are, and we do thank you for your participation. A committee of representatives from the community, the Chamber Board, and the college did select 4 finalists for this afternoon. The overall winner is chosen from the 4 finalists as a Small Business of the Year award winner. The criteria for judging include stability and growth, innovation, response to challenge, and community service. I'm proud to announce that the 4 selected finalists for 2013 are, in alphabetical order, Bushwhackers Landscaping, Falling Rivers Art Gallery, Seven Oaks Doors and Hardware, and Tar Heel Auto Sales of Locust. Please join me in giving a round of applause to these wonderful small businesses in our community. Now we'd like to tell you a little bit more about each of the finalists. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a background, and then we have a videotape that we're going to roll that was actually shot on location for each of our finalists. We're going to start off with Bushwhackers Landscaping, and the owners of the business are Chad and Rebecca Little. It's located in Richfield. It's a landscaping business, and it was established in 1997, and they have 15 employees. And so please roll the video.
Well, back in 1997, I was working with another company, and I just had a dream, of being independent. I didn't like working for somebody, and I had my own idea how landscapes should be and how things should be, quality of work and different things like that. So me and my wife talked. We was married at the time, and we talked, and we just went out on a limb and started with a truck, a trailer, and a lawnmower. Today's landscape is different than it was then. Landscaping companies, because it's a lot more than just a lawnmower now. I got the courage to do it, and we stepped out, and I put my notice in where I was working at, and we went from there. And then within a year's time, I acquired a tractor. I bought a brand new tractor, I bought a skid loader, and hired employees. And I started with some of my family first as employees because, you can trust your family, most of the time. I started with that, and we went from there. I mean, like I said, it was a leap of faith because I did not have, the training I had was with interior landscaping, which was interior plants and planters as far as the annual flowers and different things for the seasonal flowers. That's the training we had and some landscaping, but what happened is, once we did that, we went out on the limb, and I learned more on the job than I would ever learn, I believe, in the classroom. So that's how it got started. My uncle, of course, he's gone now, but he really pushed me to start a business and start the landscaping business, and just went from there. We've added a lot of things to the landscaping, to the menu, I guess you'd say. As far as lawn maintenance and landscape maintenance is what we like to call it, we do cut just a yard. We'll go cut a $30 yard for an old widow lady, whoever needs it. We're going to do whatever we have to, big or small. The profit margin, though, has got, with being so competitive in today's market, is less than 5% for landscape maintenance. So it's very tough just to make it on that. So we've had to incorporate a lot of different things into our company we're a landscape contractor, North Carolina irrigation contractor, and we also have our other license for pesticides and different things. With adding different things, we've had to, we're a landscape contractor, so we have to design. We got new landscape programs that help us design programs that show them to the customer. So that's an extra benefit that they just don't see. You don't go out there and say, hey, we're gonna plant this tree here. Because if you do that, most of the time they're not gonna go for it. So if you show them a plan of how you wanna do things, then they'll look at it and you give them a little picture beside of it or whatever you gotta do. And that's how we sell the landscape. Well, we did irrigation back in '97. As soon as we started doing irrigation also. So that helped then, and we've got more involved with more irrigation as the years went on. And so now we're a licensed irrigation contractor for North Carolina, so that's a big deal. STI, which is one of our big suppliers in the area, we have been presented the President's Award for 2011 because we have, it's hard economic times and it was tough for everybody. So what we did, we just started selling different things through that company that they offer, like a lot of landscaping supplies, irrigation supplies, LED lighting, which is a new item to the menu that everybody's liking now. We just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and kept trying to dig at it, and we did well. We was in the top 10 in the Southeast in our market. It's for our little company here, for our I guess the range of employees we have. That's where they awarded us that. Now there's some bigger companies that got the award also, but we're just in our area. We're the only one in our area in the Southeast, from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. I'm not sure about Florida, but in that area, I've won the top 10 for that, and that was in 2011. So we come along, from the hard economic times, we did well. Well, one of my favorite verses in the Bible is Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these other things will be added. I live by that. I think that's a good verse to go by, because if you say God first and you live by His word, and you do the things you're supposed to and be honest to people and do things you're supposed to, then everything else is secondary. It's going to be added to you by His favor, and that's the way I've been living my life, and that's the way I founded Bushwhackers. I always going to keep God first, and because without Him, we can't do anything. So that is God is the center of all this. Now sometimes in the mornings it gets kind of crazy. You might not think He is, but He's still there. But it's tough. That's the main reason that we are where we are today, because the Lord's helped us out.
My backyard does not look like that. I obviously need to call y'all. Representing today Bushwhackers Landscaping are Rebecca and Chad Little. Thank you. Our next finalist is Falling Rivers Art Gallery, and the owners of the business are the Stanley Art Guild, and executive director of the gallery is Nancy Leip. The gallery is located in Albemarle. It is a cooperative art gallery, and it's definitely a partnership between the Stanley Arts Guild and their Arts Center. The business was established with the opening of the gallery in 2007, and the Art Guild is actually 60 years old. They employ 29 gallery members and approximately 7 regular volunteers, all non-paid. And we also have a brief video from Falling Rivers Art Gallery.
First of all, I have to say that the Falling Rivers Gallery is the home of the Stanley Arts Guild, so it all starts there. Almost 6 years ago, we were approached by the owners of this building wanting to put a gallery in here. And if it wasn't for them, the Albemarle Improvement LLC, this wouldn't be possible at all. We put the sweat equity into getting it open, and that was August of 2007. And for this last 7 years, 5 years, they have subsidized us by covering most of the utility costs. Last February, we kind of stood on our own 2 feet, so to speak. We still require donations to make it all work, but we are now solvent for the first time and covering all of our own expenses. We're many businesses, and that's what's wonderful about this. We are supporting artist business people. So we provide them a space. They work and staff the gallery. And almost all of their sales goes back to them. We take a very, very small commission to cover advertising and the phone and internet and those things. But all the money goes back to support those small businesses. And we currently have about 30 small businesses in this gallery space. Stanley Arts Guild has been around for 50 years. So this is just a very brief part of its long history. In fact, I think next year, 2014, we celebrate 50 years of the Stanley Arts Guild. And that is because Stanley County has a very vibrant art community. And many of them got together, decided they wanted to learn from each other back in the 60s, and it's evolved from there. The Stanley Arts Guild holds 3 art shows here. They host workshops and programs and learning opportunities. They provide a scholarship every year to a rising senior in the visual arts. Currently, we're hosting the Pfeiffer Art Student Art Show. So we host many shows that are not the Stanley Arts Guild that we just sponsor. After that one comes down, we'll have North Stanley Middle School students. So we're very proud of being able to be a community center for the arts and not just a store. Yeah, I have always been passionate about economic development and about the whole creative economy and bringing artists an opportunity to make at least a small income, not necessarily a viable income. I'm an artist myself. I'm a potter. I've been doing pottery since I moved here in 2004 and started my business in 2007. So I'm still pretty new in the pottery world. But I was really taken on the idea that rather than in Seagrove where everybody creates their own little businesses and their stores, and that a cooperative arrangement would be the best way to go for Albemarle. So I got involved here at the gallery, became gallery director in 2009, and since that time branched out to be involved in Albemarle Downtown Business Association and trying to increase the reasons for people to come downtown.
Representing Falling Rivers Art Gallery is Nancy Life. Nancy, would you please stand? Our third finalist this afternoon is Seven Oaks Doors and Hardware. The owners of the business are Ed Shimpock and Foreman Rushing as a silent partner. The location is Oakboro. And the business is a distributor of commercial doors and door hardware, electronic access control, toilet partitions, and accessories. The business was established in 1989, and they employ 18 individuals. And we also have a video from Seven Oaks.
Seven Oaks Doors and Hardware started in 1989, and it was a dream. I have a business partner, and he and I together formed this company. I was working with a major lock manufacturer at that time. I recognized a niche market that was not being served, and it was the aftermarket in commercial buildings. So what we started off here doing was servicing customers in the aftermarket by calling on schools, hospitals, and universities. And what we do is physically go to the job sites and survey. We replace doors, we replace toilet partitions, we replace all kinds of door hardware, commercial door hardware. We don't do any residential, it's all commercial. And with this vision in place, we started the company, and we've grown now for, this is our 24th year. And we've been very blessed in that we've been profitable for 24 years. Now we did go down in our sales back in '09 like most everybody else, but we've been profitable throughout all these years. And so in North Carolina, there was only one other company that was doing it at that time. And so with the help of my partner, we were able to start this company, and we started calling, I started calling one person on these schools, hospitals, and universities until we got enough business. We hired one more person, and then we hired one more person. And now after 24 years, we have 18 employees, and we subcontract to maybe 6 or 8 other contractors that do work for us. I think it's all about relationships. The salespeople that we have here, when they call on their customers on a regular basis, and we have it set up so our customers are called on by one of our reps on a very regular basis. And they develop relationships with the customers, long-term relationships. We have one lady sales rep in Raleigh. She takes homemade biscuits over to her customers, and they look for her to come. And then we have other sales reps throughout the state, and they have other things they do for their customers to develop this friendship. And so the people that we call on see us more as a friend than they do as a salesman coming by. And with the relationships, it has made us very strong. And the fact that they can trust us, and they always know that what we say we will do, and we'll take care and we'll follow through with it. Well, I think being civically minded is very important because we get to know more people in the area. We get to be more involved with people every day. But I do want to take it back. You mentioned that I was involved in my church and those things in my life. I want to tell you this about Seven Oaks. Seven Oaks came to be because of an answer to prayer. Because when I worked with a company one time, it was a very evil environment that I worked in. And I prayed and asked God, would you please put me in a place that I could be working for a company that had godly principles. And not only did God give me the answer to that prayer, He gave me the company. And so I've tried to keep those values in this company and inspire the people that work here with those same values over the 24 years we've been in business.
Representing Seven Oaks is Kathy Hatley, Robert Parrish, and Ed Shimpa. Would you all please stand? Oh, Kathy's ill today, but please send her our greetings and warm wishes for a quick recovery. Our last finalist is Tar Heel Auto Sales. The owner of the business is Larry Balcom. It is located in Locust, and the description of the business is a multi-state retail vehicle sales. The business was established in 1978, and they have 8 employees. And here's a brief video of Tar Heel Auto Sales.
Well, I guess the way I got started was through my father. He drove a bus for Queen City Trailways most of his life, and during the times that he wasn't driving, he was back during the 40s and 50s, was getting on a train on Friday afternoon and going to Washington, D.C. as I used to do, and buying 2 cars with his tow bar, driving one and towing one back, and was wholesaling. So I grew up sort of in it, a little bit, you might say. And then you always have a love for cars. I don't think there's a man around that does not have a love for automobiles. And so it was just easy for me to start, and we started selling some units in the yard. I was buying up some older stuff and fixing it up, and then the city of Locust incorporated, and I went on the first city council, so I knew that I would not be able to sell automobiles out of my yard. That was going to be one of the first things to go away. So we moved down here where the old post office is at, or new post office is at now. And we stayed there for a while, and then we moved to 606 West Main Street and stayed there for a number of years. We went down there in '86, and then we moved to where we are now, probably about 7 years ago. So it's evolved into to where we are, and during most of that time, up until 12 years ago, I still worked with a major oil company, and this was done I guess sort of on the side. There was people that ran the operation for me, and I was involved at night when I was home and on the weekends, but sort of an absentee operator just for that period of time. And then 12 years ago, in '99, 13 years ago, I retired and came in full-time. And my son came in 2 years before I did, so about 3 years ago, my daughter came in. So it's evolved into a family operation, and then Dennis Cocker has been with us for the past 11 years. I got sick, and he was working with another dealership and came in and said, I'm taking some vacation and I'm going to work for you while you're sick, and we just never did let him leave. So basically we're just family. Well, we hope that we have impressed upon the general public that we stand behind what we sell. You know, the slogan is you sell to sell again, and that's not a cliche. It's something that you want to do. I remember when we first really went into the retail operation where the new post office is at now, 20, 30 something years ago, and my wife met a friend that we went to church with in the grocery store, and she says, I can't believe that Larry is going to open up a retail car lot. Says, what's the philosophy behind what he's going to do? And she says, well, I'll just tell you. When we meet people on the street, we're going to be able to look them straight in the eye and know that they got what they asked for and they're satisfied with it, or we're going to make them happy. And so we basically tried to do that. If you're not happy with something, whatever the case may be, we try to go back and make it right. And sometimes it has hurt, but we try to keep that philosophy all the way through. Well, you know, you can only give back so much, and we feel that we've been real blessed by being here. Number one, I love Stanley County. Number two, I love the western end of Stanley County. And so to be able to be a part of something that I think is the biggest secret in the world. If everybody knew about Stanley County, we'd be running over. You know, we've got everything. We're sitting here in the middle of the state of North Carolina. We've got great climate. We've got a lot of water. We've got a little mountain with Morrow Mountain for recreation. We've got some good golf courses with Pfeiffer College and with Stanley Community College. I mean, I think we've got great facilities to educate. And I just want to be part of giving back. I challenge myself, and I'd like to challenge anyone, that you just need to give back to the community in which you're dad. You just don't want to be a receiver all the time. You need to be a giver back. And then, you know, I think there's a certain amount of people that just like to do it anyway, and I like to be busy. I like to see things happen. And the only way you can really be involved and see things happen is if you decide to get involved yourself. So don't sit back and look, but just go ahead and get involved. And I've enjoyed it. I mean, my wife says I'm too busy now, but I enjoy it.
So much for retirement, right?
Yeah, so much for retirement.
Representing Tar Heel Auto Sales are Larry Balcom, James Balcom, and Amy Bates. This obviously was a very tough decision, and I would like to thank Tom George. Tom heads up this process each year for us, and he does a very fine job. In addition to that, I would like to recognize James Cotton. He actually shot the videos for us this year, and I think they added a very nice touch. I think that all four of these nominees are definitely businesses that we are each proud exist in our community, phenomenal representatives of our community. At this point in time, I'd like to ask Mr. Bill Lawhon to join me. We have the envelope, but while he's making his way up, could we recognize once again all four of our finalists?
Sealed. Kind of like the Academy Awards.
Stanley Community College accounting firm.
Verified. And Dr. Kays, would you be kind enough to
I
read
can
the
do
winner?
that, but you put on your glasses.
Well, that's okay. I want to be able to see.
This year's Small Business of the Year Award winner is Seven Oaks Doors and Hardware.
buddy. Give me a hug.
I'll hug you too, Tom.
Plenty of hugs to go around.
Wow. What can I say? Well, I knew I had 1 in 4 chance of this, so I wrote some notes. Woo. I don't know what else to say except, wow, this is such an honor. Thank you, Tom Ramseur, Chamber of Commerce, Tom George, Bill, Dr. Kays, and the secret screening committee. Thank you. To be known as a finalist was exciting in itself, but to win this is very special. It's a dream come true. Each of the other finalists are outstanding businesses in our county. We've got Chad and Rebecca Little here with Bushwhackers, and Nancy Life with the Falling Rivers Arts Gallery, and my friend Larry Balcom. If I didn't sell doors, Larry, I'd really like to be in the car business. I think he knows that. I like cars. But these are very, very good organizations, and they are to be applauded. You're very, very good people. You carry yourselves well, and people think highly of you in this community. It's needless to say that you're here today. I want to repeat some of the things you said and I said in the video because it's the same stuff. Seven Oaks Doors and Hardware started 24 years ago as a dream, and it was a dream of Foreman Rushing and myself to deliver brand name commercial doors, hardware, electronic access control, and toilet partitions to the aftermarket promptly and accurately and at a fair market price, and also to service our customers and clients with product application knowledge. Now, what I just said was our mission statement that we wrote 24 years ago, and we have not wavered for that in 24 years, and I think the consistency in the friendships we've built over the years is why we have been able to do what we've done today. From day one, there was a lot of sacrifices and efforts made to see this company succeed. One of those who endured the time, sacrificed, and supported me in every endeavor is my bride of almost 26 years, Lynn. Without her support, I wouldn't be here today. I can assure you that. Seven Oaks Doors and Hardware has created and maintained, as the video said, 18 jobs. We've added one more for Stanley County in the last couple of weeks. So now we have 19 full-time jobs and 2 part-time jobs here in Stanley County. And I'm blessed today to have 3 of my long-term employees with me, David Hill and Robert Parrish and Joan Underwood. During the recession, we increased our advertising and expanded our product lines with a major emphasis on electronic access control. We service a niche market specializing in the aftermarket. We call on schools, hospitals, and universities throughout North and South Carolina and parts of Virginia. Our management style is not unique, but we live by it. We empower our employees. We encourage leadership in each employee. Our industry is constantly changing due to the security issues that all of you are aware of in the schools and in the industry, which has thrust us into the electronic access control market. Although not comfortable for us in the beginning, it was one of the best things we ever did when we got into the access control market. We lead the way in our marketplace by marrying the basic mechanical portion of our business to the electronic part of it. Now, you heard part of this in the video just a minute ago, but I want to tell you the rest of my story. And it started many years ago. I was working in corporate management for many years with a major manufacturer. And the politics, the backstabbing, and everything that goes along with corporate politics, for you that work for corporations, you know what I'm talking about. But it's when I realized that I needed to get out to survive, I began to pray, and I asked God to help me find a job with a company with Christian values. I underestimated what He would do. Instead of giving me a job with a company that had these values, He allowed me to own a company and direct a company that we could incorporate these values and these godly principles into the company. And we have kept those godly principles alive for 24 years, and I give all the glory to God for my success in this. My philosophy has always been, when you help someone else get what they want, you'll always get what you want. I have laughed with our employees. I have cried with our employees. I have encouraged each and every one of them. I've prayed with them, sometimes privately and sometimes corporately. I have told them that I love them, and they have told me that they love me. And that's the rest of my story.
Hi, folks. I'm Tom George with the Small Business Center. You probably noticed at the bottom of your program, we're having a seminar right after this in the Azalea Room. I still have room for 10 more people to attend this, so feel free to do that. But what I wanted to do is I asked our speaker or our seminar presenter to stop over at our luncheon and introduce himself and give us like 15, 20 minutes to introduce some of the concepts. And let me introduce Martin to you. Martin Brossman is a business coach, consultant, author, and dynamic trainer known for his insight and humor. A member of the National Speakers Bureau, Martin is a popular speaker on a variety of topics, including our topic today, which is customer service. He teaches at many of the small business centers throughout North Carolina. Martin offers customized coaching, training solutions for individuals and groups, integrating social media, social network, and reputation management strategies. As an advocate for professional transparency, Martin is a catalyst for achieving powerful results with integrity. His recent books called Linking into Sales and Social Media for Business provide guidance and resources for accelerating professional networking and marketing. Both are available at Amazon.com. Martin's clients have included IBM, SAS, GlaxoSmithKline, the EPA, SCORE, and the North Carolina Association of Certified Public Accountants, also various chambers throughout the state of North Carolina. So without further ado, I'd like Martin to come up and give us like 15, 20 minutes. Thank you.
When I hear those things, I go, wow, I want to meet that guy. And then I realize it's me. I really empathized, I really understood the desire. It's okay if I move away from the mic. Can you all hear me? I gave a talk the other day, and a gentleman said, walked up and said, it was a great talk. And I said, well, that's terrific, Bob, but I didn't see you in the room. He says, I was in a boring accounting meeting next door. We were all listening to you. I think I can project my voice, but just I love what he said about moving on to a better place. I spent 7 years in IBM, got off on good parole, no record, and I really decided it wasn't the right home for me, that the right home was touched by my father, whose greatest joy was being a consultant when I was younger. And I realized how much joy he had in being his own boss, working. He seemed to work more, but seemed the happiest. Now, my mother wanted a little more security and went back to the government. But that seemed to spark something for me. And I left in 1995 to go out on my own to be a success and business coach. And then in 2006, started training in the community colleges. 2008 came, and it looked like the bottom was falling out. And I went, I have to up my game. So I just want to say, anyone that's on the same team of helping with economic growth from the ground up through small and local businesses, that's what I'm about. Please join me and share what you're doing, and this whole room is. So it's really important that we team together, because many of us learned from large box stores coming to our area the effect they had on our town. Well, guess what? They're organizing to come again, and it's time for us to work tighter together, smarter together, work more cooperative together, and really keep alive what makes our small towns and our counties, which are the local owned businesses. That's the personality of the community. That's the character of the community. I don't know if you've looked at the stats, but the most money to spend in your community is in the over 40 crowd. Not all of us got checks. I didn't get mine, but apparently they have it. And what that means is they're attracted to nostalgia even if it's not their own. So that means when you revive your downtown and you work together to get a building like the Art Council, where it's in a building and you build the history back, and you produce this on social media and you make content out there for people to find, they will come. But the key is you have to let the world know about it, and you have to do it in a way where you're also cognitive of your own reputation. So the part of how we can multiply what's great here and what occurred is I'm going to ask you all to get on social media today and say one more thing wonderful about the people who sponsored it, the community colleges, the chambers, the announcements. I just tweeted it out to 5,000 people. If you do the same, we'll have no problem in bringing more people to the town. Why? Because that's the next tier of understanding of where people are going to find out if they should spend money in your town. Where they're going, I don't know if you've noticed, is there are a lot of people that seem to have their head more in Facebook than in front of you. Has anyone noticed that? Or now Foursquare. Well, when it comes to building relationships locally in a town, most of you have that down so well, I should take notes. Because I'm from a big city called Washington, D.C. That's why I'm not there now. And I'm here. And the piece of it is you've got that down. But the next level of that is having that conversation online so other people can hear about your great town. And as of this year, we tipped a point where now 1/7 of all the Homo sapiens on this planet going around this gas ball are on social media. 1/7, and 50% are checking in once a day. So as a micro and small business, this creates an equal playing field for the small business against the larger business, because what they care about is levels of engagement and participation, not who writes the biggest check. Back when I grew up at 54, the person who wrote the biggest check won in the media. Now, actually, the quality that's provided in your local business, the reviews online, the contacts that are made, the way you help on YouTube, the articles you might write on your blog to let yourself be known or solve a problem for someone, are actually just as accessible as a large box place that's wrote a big check. I mean, think about it. When Sandy hit the coast, my wife was from Springfield, New Jersey, and imagine if she had family there and we couldn't reach them. And I got on the internet to look up the storm, and let's just say you were there and on your phone posted on YouTube the water raising downtown and I saw it. Do you think I care that you're not the weather station? No. Well, guess what? Google doesn't care either. So if the town collectively creates relevant content that will grab people and understand some of the things we'll cover this afternoon in reputation monitoring and managing, having your directories listed properly, we can raise the entire community on the web while we're already raising it on the ground. So these are the things to understand, because when someone's coming to your town and they're deciding, should I drop my money in your art council or go to the next town, they're going to start with something like art stores near me. And they're going to look at what shows up. And what shows up on a Google will be the directories. We'll talk about that this afternoon. Or on an iPhone will be Siri or other directories that are there. So if we just start with something as simple as what we'll teach this afternoon and how to optimize those and get the most of it, we can make a big difference. Then if all of you just take a moment today and do one more thing to acknowledge an online business. How many people have business Facebook pages here? Good. Now if you become that page and talk about the event you came to another business you saw here, that would have another multiplying effect. Why? Because if I'm following one of you and I'm from out of town, I'll see something's going on here. Wonder who that award is. We've got a video. I'm sure he'll probably make it available on YouTube so we can have it. Now we're starting to be able to use tools that would have cost us thousands of dollars just 15 years ago, and able to broadcast and be our own media. So what I want you to think about is, how can we take the wonderful things that happen today and carry the conversation online to another level than you've already done? This makes a real difference, because I've been in towns. I was in my friend took me to visit his town in Franklinton, North Carolina, and he said, you got to come see the downtown and walk around with me. The entire downtown has running water through every building, just most have it running through the roof. So we walked through the town, and really he's from a small town, from Fraser, I think it's Colorado, and he was a mayor. And he says, I really want you to see firsthand from my eyes what's happening to the towns and that how I'm committed to building that back up. And there was a little coffee shop downtown. And we went in there and had the history of the whole town in it. It was delightful. It had a little sandwich. We had lunch, and I said, I'm so excited. I didn't see you on the directories. I didn't see you online. I would have pulled over from the highway if I had known it. And he said, well, I'm closing my doors. And I asked him the question I ask every time I hear that. Could it have been a few more sandwiches? And the answer was yes, it could have been. So remember, that little extra effort you make local to buy an extra sandwich from a local-owned business or purchase something local might keep their doors open. So think of the things in your community that you want to keep around and ask, are you investing with your time, your attention, and your dollars? That's how they stay alive. They don't stay alive because you like them to. They stay alive because we make a conscious effort of it. What happened is the council had just found that they could get some grant money for a park, and the park was completed just about the time the store closed. Now, what if that council had taken that energy and thought, how do we even go down and have lunch, maybe the meeting at the event? That could have saved it. And I see this over and over in my travels across North Carolina. And it's not because there aren't great people, it's just human nature. You know, we all, every town I go to, they go, well, I know you have this, but we also have these problems and these problems. No, you don't. You have human beings. And when we act like animals, we look like animals. When we come from a greater commitment or faith or something higher, then we pull ourselves above it and go, you know, I may not, what's your name, Larry? You know, Larry, I may not like you because of something in the past, but I'm committed to the town, so I'm going to figure out how to get over it. You know, that's what will start changing these things. So the three main areas I like to focus on is I really want to acknowledge the buy local programs, which are often related to produce. Then we have the shop local, which is coming to shops, and then the third one is invest local, because didn't you say it's a co-op, the art center?
Art gallery.
Art gallery?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to notice, we can invest in something other than Wall Street. We can invest in our Main Street. A cooperative is an example of a legal way you can actually have an investment. You know, maybe putting some money into a local bank. It doesn't mean we have to take it all out. I don't expect people to stop going to Starbucks or Walmart. I just want you to go, maybe I can take a little bit of that and share it locally. So some of the things we'll cover today, just to give you something to walk away with, is first, take your smartphone, and if you don't have one, unfortunately, you need to get one if you have a business. Not because you need to have the next technology. I'm not an advocate of it. Because you actually need to understand what's going on with the multi-generationals of people spending money. So the first thing is take your phone and look up your business on your phone through its directory system. If you have a Siri, use Siri and look up the business. If you have Android, look up the Android system. And it literally, this one has a little thing I speak to, and I say, let me get it right here. And I'll say, there we go. Coffee shop near me. Now, in a bad signal in front of enough people, it usually won't work.
I don't know if I can answer that properly.
So the piece of it is, it will usually show up directory listings. So look up your business on the directory and make sure it's claimed. We'll talk a little bit about it next. The next thing is, many adult over 40 people are apprehensive of being online. Well, the problem is, if you're not online and something bad occurs related to you, it looks worse. So not having an intentional positive web presence is actually a drawback today over having it. If you're a professional or in a professional position, Chambers and others, LinkedIn, hands down. You need to be on it, put a photo on it, put the keywords you want to attract your town with, put other information on it, fill it out fully, brag to your heart's content all the way back to high school. Why? You're telling people someone of quality is in this position. Mentioning those things, it'll show up top of Google, and then if someone pre-screens you, they'll find that other than nothing at all. If you, from there, utilizing, making sure that you're on your directories, check out the ones, to name a few, we'll go into a little more detail on this afternoon, which will be Google Plus Local, which used to be Google Places. So if you had a Google Place, it's probably dropped half the stuff, you need to reclaim it. Then Yelp's another one because that's what the iPhone uses. We'll go into that. Then sometimes TripAdvisor if you have visitors coming through, and then Urban Spoon. Those are a few of the big ones. If the Yellow Pages shows up when you look up your competition, it may be one as well. If the Chamber has a listing, make sure to utilize it because the Chambers still are the hubs of the community and people coming out of town to ask the Chamber. I bet you've got a call in the last month, someone asking your advice on something, right? They still like to pick up the phone and ask. So utilize the directories that they might have as well. These are the beginning levels. Then the next level to understand is become your business Facebook page and engage with someone else in your community because that lets me see it. If you just as an individual in your private page go out and make a comment, that's good, but I can't see it. And we want to have a conversation about this wonderful area that the world can see. So that's the next piece of it. From there, it's just beginning to think, what is content that I can create that would attract my customer and be of value? How many people want one more commercial flashed in your face? Raise your hand. Look around you. We are spending more time ignoring interruption advertising. That doesn't mean good advertising isn't worth spending money on, but what we're looking for is solutions, help, and resources. So let's see. On yours, you might create something that might be an educational tip where people get stuck in something on installing. There was a business that did installation of foundations, and the guy told me there was a kit he could put together for $100 that could patch any cable. I said, why is that important? Well, if you cut through the phone wire, you have to wait a few days for the phone company to get. So if he built that, made it education available, that would have a resource that could actually be utilized. So these are just a few to begin with. And then I thought I'd take a minute to see if I can get a few questions and answers, comments. And I love to hear great stories. I'm going to get you on TV on my own. I just want to say how many people have heard of Google Plus? Anyone here? Yeah. So just start watching it. I have a course with it. And it is going to actually, it will, you know, as long as grandkid pictures on Facebook, grandma will be on Facebook. But there's a lot of other benefits as well. So I just want to get a few questions, comments, statements, and just and also just tell you what a great joy it is to be here. This is people really working together.
I got one more.
Great.
So, doing Facebook, you got a LinkedIn account, tell me why you would do Twitter also.
Yeah, right. Why would you? First of all, I'm not an advocate to go do everything, which is a great important thing. No, you don't have to do everything. What you have to do is figure out where are your customers having conversations, and that's where you need to be. So Twitter is more of a faster moving, like a radio station that can talk back environment. And it also is a utilization to interface with major media. If Twitter failed today, the media would have a problem having news tonight. So news really breaks on Twitter first, and then it breaks in the media. So that would be it if that's important. Then there's some little pocket things like the mobile taco van that goes around and tweets out where he is, that it can be useful as well. So treat it like a certain two-way broadcast. Use the advanced search of Twitter, I'll mention it in class today, and look to see if you have market there. And if you do, then utilize it. If not, we're going to use it more for outside reach and communication. In like a hospital or something like this, critical for the reputation monitoring I'll talk about. because that's where a big issue will break. So if you have any liability risk, schools, things like that, you need to be active, because if something goes wrong, they'll break there. Let's get one or two more, and then, yeah.
LinkedIn. What is the purpose of LinkedIn?
I think it's a great question. The purpose and value of LinkedIn is business to business sales, enhancing reputation of key people of authority in your position. So if you have a veterinary's office and you've got several vets in that, you'd want to be on LinkedIn, because with over 200 million people worldwide, those names will show up top of Google better than you could ever produce with your website and search engine optimization. And the concept here is professionals in their career want to be pre-screenable. Because if I can't find you, I'll trust you less. If I can't find you, I'll trust you less. It's not fair, it's the way the world's become. So great question. Did that give you at least a beginning answer?
Yeah.
Good. Another one. Yeah.
Suggestions for getting likes on your Facebook page.
You know, one of the greatest ways to get likes on the Facebook page is literally just upping the quality of the content. Many people aren't asking, am I posting something that's truly worth my prospect and customer's attention now? They really aren't digging deep enough in, is this worth their attention or just something I can throw up there? Because if it's something I can throw up there, or they need to get my commercial, they've probably already hit you and are ignoring you by now. Your customer, you've overfed it. The next one is what I said is becoming the page and engaging with the other audience, which I'll talk a little bit about this afternoon, the other local businesses, and then the other local businesses responding to it in a positive way. So if someone catered an event and you want to thank them for it, do it. It would be great to acknowledge the runners-up and the finalists here for congratulations. That'd be a welcome interruption from your business to them. Did that give you something with it? Good. One more thing is also, the worst thing I see is the little sign is connect to us on Facebook, and they've got a little Facebook symbol. Has anyone stopped and written down the name on their hand so they'd remember it? No? No, I don't think so. Make sure in your store you've got clearly the address, maybe a QR code explaining how to do it and why they should go there, and why should they be on your Facebook. Not just that you had it, the novelty is past. Now, what's the payoff for me to actually spend the time and give you further attention? You see, we've moved from the ability to use broadcasting to narrowcasting and what I call earning the right to stay in our customers' attention. This is the new media. And then social validation is the next thing, which is I care about what anonymous people have to say about you more than your marketing material. So that's why we cover reputation monitoring in the class. One more, and I think I probably used up my time. You got to watch me on time. Good. Well, we'll wrap it up. It's just such a joy. Oh, on your tables is a handout. So if you come to the class this afternoon, get it. The few people, I think someone's going to the dentist. I'm sure they'd rather be at my class than there. But is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. I've been doing social media pretty much nonstop since 2006, wrote 3 books, and I've been asking, how do you help small towns, not examples of how a large company said you can dunk in the dark and took credit for it. I care about the micro and small businesses, so that's what you'll hear today. So, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. I also wanted to plug the Small Business Center. Basically, what we're here to do in Stanley County is to help grow business. And what do is we provide seminars like Martin, we provide resources and counseling. I counsel people. I know a lot about what Martin's talked about because I listen to Martin. Every time Martin has a seminar, I try to take it. And we have some great instructors with the Small Business Center. So if you have a question or concern, feel free to stop and talk to me or give me a call. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to the 4 finalists. I'm the guy that interviewed all 4 of them, and I was extremely impressed with all 4 candidates. So let's give them all a round of applause again. And I think I mentioned to all of them that they're all worthy of being a winner. It was kind of unfortunate that we have to choose a winner because they all did such a marvelous job with their business. So without further ado, I'll adjourn and thank you for coming tonight.